You've got two choices.
Apologize sincerely or get off this plane.
I'm sorry for judging you.
Hey, y'all, grab a seat, maybe a coffee, because I'm about to take you on one hell of a ride 30,000 feet in the air, where a showdown went down that nobody saw coming. Picture this, a packed flight from Chicago to Seattle, business class buzzing with the usual mix of suits and laptops, and in the middle of it all, a woman named Maya Jackson, a 38-year-old structural engineer, is sitting in her hard-earned seat, minding her own damn business. Then, out of nowhere, a storm brews, not the kind she's used to designing bridges for, but the kind that comes with a loudmouth mom and a whole lot of prejudice. Maya's no stranger to tough days. Born in Cleveland, she lost her mom to illness when she was 6, raised by her dad, a steelworker who'd come home with hands rough as sandpaper but a heart big enough to carry her dreams. He'd sit her down after dinner, sketching bridges on napkins, telling her, "Kiddo, you build things that hold people up, don't ever let anyone tear you down." Those words stuck, carried her through engineering school, top of her class, through late nights drafting plans to save cities from floods and quakes. Now, on this flight, she's clutching a beat-up leather portfolio, her dad's old gift stuffed with designs for a flood-resistant bridge system that could protect millions along the Pacific Northwest. This isn't just a job. It's her shot to make her dad proud, to prove a girl from the Rust Belt could change the world. The plane's humming along. Maya's flipping through her notes, nerves buzzing, not the bad kind, but the kind you get when you know you're about to do something big. She's in seat 3B, business class, earned with her own money, not some corporate perk. Around her, folks are settling in, some guys tapping away on a laptop, a woman sipping wine, scrolling her phone. It's calm, almost too calm, like the quiet before a tornado. Then, she hears Ida's voice, sharp, entitled, cutting through the cabin like a knife. "Excuse me, I think there's been a mix-up here." Enter Karen Whitmore, 42, strutting down the aisle like she owns the plane, her 11-year-old daughter, Lily, trailing behind. Karen's the kind of woman who's never had to hustle a day in her life, born into money, married into more, living in a gated community outside Chicago where she's queen of the HOA and master of passive-aggressive emails. She's got that vibe, you know, the one where she smiles but it's all teeth, like she's doing you a favor just by existing. Lily, poor kid, is a mini version of her mom. Private school, designer backpack, raised to believe the world's split into us and them. Karen's got a first-class ticket, but Lily's in business class. Some lesson about earning her place, though Karen's never earned a thing herself. Karen stops dead at Maya's row, eyes narrowing like she's spotted a glitch in her perfect little universe. Maya's in a sharp blazer, her portfolio open, looking every bit the professional, but Karen doesn't see that. All she sees is a black woman in a seat she thinks doesn't belong to her. "This is business class," Karen says, loud enough for heads to turn, "and I'm pretty sure there's been a mistake." Her voice drips with that fake politeness you hear when someone's about to say something awful. Lily, picking up her mom's cue, chimes in, "Yeah, Mommy says these seats are for important people." The cabin goes quiet, like someone hit pause. Maya looks up, calm as a lake before a storm, and says, "This is my seat. I've got my boarding pass right here." She pulls it out, clean and crisp, showing 3B, business class, no question. But Karen's not here for facts. She's here to enforce her version of the world. "Well," she says, folding her arms, "sometimes the airline messes up. I'm sure they can find you a seat. Somewhere else." That somewhere else hangs in the air like a slap. A guy in a suit across the aisle mutters, "Unbelievable," under his breath. A woman 2 rows back starts filming, her phone barely hiding her shock. Maya's heart's pounding now, but she's been here before, not this exact moment, but close enough. Growing up, she'd heard it all. The whispers, the assumptions, the teachers who thought she'd never make it to MIT. Her dad's voice echoes in her head. "Don't let him tear you down." She takes a breath, keeps her voice steady. "I'm not moving. This is my assigned seat, and I'm staying." Karen's face twists, like she's bitten into something sour. "Listen," she snaps, dropping the fake nice act. "My daughter deserves this seat more than someone like you." That "someone like you" lands like a punch. The cabin's buzzing now whispers, gasps, a flight attendant named Jenna hovering nearby, looking like she's debating whether to step in or call for backup. Lily, egged on by her mom, pipes up again, voice sharp and cruel in that way only kids can manage. Mommy says people like you don't belong up here. You should go to the back. The words hit like a gut shot. A woman gasps audibly. The suit guy shakes his head, muttering, Jesus. Maya grips her portfolio tighter, her dad's words looping in her mind. But it's damn hard not to feel the weight of every eye in the cabin. Karen's on a roll now, feeding off the attention. I pay good money for this kind of service, she says, voice climbing. And I won't have my daughter sitting next to someone who doesn't understand how business class works. She's practically shouting, like she's auditioning for a reality show. Jenna, the flight attendant, finally steps in, her voice tight but professional. Ma'am, is there a problem here? Karen spins on her, playing the victim card like a pro. Yes, there's a problem. This woman's in the wrong seat, and it's making us uncomfortable. I'm sure you get what I mean. Jenna glances at Maya's boarding pass, then back at Karen. This passenger's in her assigned seat. If you're having an issue, maybe we can find you another spot. Karen's eyes go wide, like Jenna just suggested she ride in the cargo hold. Another spot for me? Do you know who my husband is? He's on the city council, and he could make things very difficult for this system, this airline. The threat's empty, but Karen's banking on it working, like it always has in her cushy life. That's when the cockpit door opens, and out steps Captain Marcus Hayes. He's 44, tall, with the kind of presence that makes you sit up straight. 20 years flying jets for the Navy, now a commercial pilot with a no-nonsense vibe. Marcus grew up in Oakland, raised by a single mom who worked 3 jobs to keep them afloat. He's seen his share of hard knocks, racism, assumptions, the works, but he turned it into fuel, climbing ranks to become one of the youngest black captains in the game. He's got 2 teenage sons, mixed-race kids who deal with their own battles in a world that loves to judge. Marcus doesn't just command a plane, he commands respect, and he's not here for Karen's nonsense. Jenna's briefed him over the intercom, and he's already got the lay of the land. As he walks down the aisle, his eyes are locked in, jaw tight, like he's ready to defuse a bomb. Karen sees him and flips on the charm, all smiles and syrupy sweetness. Captain, thank goodness you're here, she says, like they're old pals. I'm Karen Whitmore, and this is my daughter, Lily. We're just trying to sort out a little seating mix-up. She gestures at Maya like she's a stray piece of luggage. Marcus doesn't blink. His voice is calm, but there's steel in it. Ma'am, I need you to explain exactly what's wrong here. Karen leans in, all conspiratorial, like she's about to share a juicy secret. It's simple, Captain. My daughter and I expect a certain level of comfort in business class. This woman doesn't quite fit the vibe, if you catch my drift. She's all but winking, thinking Marcus is gonna nod along, pat her on the back, and move Maya to the cheap seats. But Marcus isn't playing her game. He glances at Maya, sees her portfolio, her polished look, the way she's holding it together despite Karen's venom. Ma'am, he says, turning to Maya, I'm Captain Marcus Hayes. Mind telling me what you're traveling for today? His tone's warm, like he's genuinely curious, not just checking a box. Maya hesitatish learned not to trust authority figures too quick, but there's something in his eyes that says he's listening. I'm heading to Seattle for a meeting with state engineers, she says, voice steady. I'm a structural engineer, presenting a new bridge designed to protect coastal towns from flooding. Marcus's eyebrows lift, just a fraction. A structural engineer? That's big-time work. What's the design about? Karen's practically vibrating with impatience, cutting in. Captain, we don't need her life story. This is about keeping business class appropriate. But Marcus doesn't even glance her way, keeps his eyes on Maya. Go on, tell me about these bridges. Maya feels a spark of hope, like maybe this guy's for real. It's a new system, she says, designed to handle megafloods and quakes Category 5 stuff. If it works, it could save millions of lives along the coast. Marcus nods, impressed. 3 years of research, she adds, based on what my dad taught me, build things that protect people, no matter what. Karen's had enough. Captain, this is ridiculous, she snaps. My daughter and I deserve better than this. Just fix the seating, please. But Marcus turns to her, and the air shifts, like a storm's about to break. Let me get this straight, he says, voice low and sharp. like he's calling out a cadet who stepped out of line. Are you saying this passenger doesn't belong here because of her race? Karen stammers, caught off guard. It's not about racy, it's about standards, comfort, the experience we paid for. But Lily, oblivious to the stakes, jumps in. She doesn't look like she belongs up here, she says, parroting her mom's poison. People like her should sit in the back. The words hit like a slap, and the cabin's dead silent. The suit guy mutters, "Good Lord." The woman filming grips her phone tighter. Marcus kneels down to Lily's level, his face softening but serious. "Lily, listen up," he says, like he's talking to his own kids. "This woman right here, she's one of the smartest people on this plane. She builds bridges that keep folks safe from floods and storms. She's a hero, you hear me? When you say she doesn't belong, you're saying heroes don't belong. That's not just wrong, it's the opposite of what good people stand for." Lily's eyes go wide, like she's hearing something that Roswell, Idaho, for the first time. Karen's fuming now, red-faced and sputtering. "How dare you talk to my daughter like that?" she barks. "Do you know who my husband is? He's got connection, she'll have your job." Marcus stands, all 6'2" of him, and his voice drops to a deadly calm. "Ma'am, I don't care who your husband is, or what connections you think you've got. What I care about is every passenger on my plane being treated with respect. You've been harassing a passenger based on her skin color, and you're teaching your kid to do the same. That stops now." He turns to the cabin, voice carrying like he's addressing a squadron. "Folks, this woman in 3B MS, Maya Jackson, is an engineer whose work could save millions of lives. She's earned her seat, same as any of you. Anyone questioning her right to be here based on how she looks is the problem, not her." Karen's shaking, humiliated, realizing her usual power plays aren't working. "I'll file complaints," she shouts. "With the airline, the FAA, everyone." Marcus doesn't flinch. "Ma'am, you've got two choices," he says, voice like a blade. "One, you apologize to Ms. Jackson since her alliance sit down quietly for the rest of this flight. Two, you and your daughter get off this plane, get on the no-fly list, and find your own way to Seattle. You've got 60 seconds to decide." The cabin's so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Karen's face is a mess of rage and shame, her usual script of threats and name-dropping falling flat. Lily's starting to cry, not the fake tears she's been taught to use, but real ones, like her world's starting to crack. "Mommy," she says, voice shaky, "why'd you say those mean things?" The captain says she helps people. That hits Karen hard, like a mirror held up to her own ugliness. She looks at Maya, really looks, and sees a woman who's been nothing but poised, clutching plans that could save lives, not the caricature she'd built in her head. I'm sorry," Karen mumbles, barely audible, like the words are choking her. Marcus isn't letting her off easy. "Be specific, ma'am. Address Ms. Jackson directly." Karen swallows hard, turns to Maya. "Ms. Jackson, I'm sorry for what I said, for judging you based on your race. I shouldn't have dragged my daughter into it. It's not heartfelt, not yet, but it's a start, forced out by the weight of every eye in the cabin." Maya looks at her, steady as ever. "Thank you," she says, voice soft but firm. "I accept your apology. I just hope your daughter learns everyone deserves respect." Marcus nods, then addresses the cabin again. "What happened here is a reminder prejudice still festers, often in sneaky ways people think they can hide. But every one of you who saw this had a choice. Speak up or stay silent. Choose justice over letting this slide." He turns to Maya, voice warm again. "Ms. Jackson, I'm sorry you went through this. Your grace under fire's been something else, and your work saving lives with those bridges? That's the real deal. You're what this world needs more of." Maya's eyes well up, not from Karen's venom, but from being seen, really seen, after years of fighting to be heard. "Thank you, Captain," she says, voice catching. "That means a lot." Marcus kneels to Lily again. "Kiddo, remember this day. The stuff your mom taught you about judging people by their skin? It's wrong. Ms. Jackson's a hero, using her smarts to keep folks safe. Promise me you'll judge people by what they do, not how they look." Lily wipes her eyes, nods. "I promise," she says, glancing at Maya with something new, curiosity, maybe even respect. As Marcus heads back to the cockpit, the cabin erupts in applause, loud and raw, like a wave breaking. Passengers stand, clapping for Maya's strength, for Marcus's spine, for a moment where right won out. Karen and Lily slink to their seats, 3 rows back, the air around them heavy with their own shame. The rest of the flight's different lighter, like the whole cabin's breathing easier. Folks start coming up to Maya, one by one. A guy named Tom Reed, infrastructure consultant, shakes her hand. Ms. Jackson, I'm with Washington's Public Works Department. Can we talk about your designs when we land? They sound like exactly what we need. A journalist, Sarah Nguyen, leans in. I'm with the Seattle Times. Your story needs to be told. Can I write it up? Then there's Lily. During meal service, she shuffles up, eyes down. Ms. Jackson, I'm really sorry, she says, voice small. I didn't know you were a hero who builds bridges. Can you tell me about them? Maya smiles, soft but real, and spends the next half hour sketching on napkins, explaining beams and load-bearing to a kid who's actually listening. Lily's eyes light up, asking questions, soaking it in. Karen watches from her seat, seeing her daughter spark with curiosity she hasn't seen in years, and it stings. She knows this is what she's always said she wanted for Lily, but it's happening because of the woman she tried to tear down. When the plane lands in Seattle, something wild happens. Passengers line up to shake Maya's hand, wish her luck, swap business cards. Tom Reed walks her through the terminal, already setting up a meeting with the state's flood control team. Sarah Nguyen's post about the incidents blowing up online, racking up thousands of shares, people cheering Maya's poise and Marcus's stand. But the real kicker comes when Lily runs up, out of breath, holding a crayon drawing of a bridge with stick figures safe under it, labeled, "Thank you for saving people," from Lily. Maya kneels, takes the paper. This is beautiful, Lily. Keep that promise you made, okay? Karen steps up, quieter now, her arrogance gone. Ms. Jackson, today, it's made me see things differently. Watching Rectangular, watching Lily with you, I realized I've been wrong about a lot. Maya nods. Thank you. And thank you for showing Lily curiosity and kindness go further than hate. A week later, Maya's presentation to Washington engineers is a home run. Her designs get the green light for pilot projects in 3 cities. The connections from the flight turn into consulting gigs that'll keep her busy for years. Captain Marcus gets a flood of letters, gets promoted to chief pilot, starts leading training on handling bias with guts and grace. Lily keeps her promise, grows up to study engineering, inspired by Maya, telling everyone heroes don't always look like you expect. Karen starts volunteering, speaking out about how prejudice can poison even the closest bonds, like the one with her daughter. 6 months later, Maya's standing by Puget Sound, watching cranes hoist beams for her first bridge, Lily's drawing now framed in her hand. It's a reminder, the strongest bridges aren't just steel and concrete. They're the ones that connect people across hate and misunderstanding. This story's about more than a flight. It's about choosing courage over comfort, dignity over division, and the hope that even a kid raised on lies can learn to see truth. So what do y'all think? Ever seen someone's prejudice blow up in their face like that? Or someone like Marcus step up when it matters? Drop a comment. Tell me where you're watching from, what time it is, and what this story makes you feel. Was Karen's apology real, or just a dodge to save face? Should kids like Lily be held accountable for what their parents teach them? Let's talk. Hit that subscribe button, and let's keep telling stories that prove bridges beat walls every time.